In the early 1980s, the BBC, that's right, the British Broadcasting Corporation, the same people who bring you shows like Sherlock and Doctor Who, created the BBC Computer Literacy Project. This was an effort to get school kids to program as well as learn how to use computers. The BBC worked with the company Acorn Computers to develop the BBC Micro, an 8-bit home computer that could be connected to TVs. Thanks to government subsidies, over 80% of schools in Great Britain had a BBC Micro by 1984. More than 20 years later, the BBC has returned to give us another educational tool in the world of programming. This is the BBC Microbit. The Microbit is an embedded platform created as a collaboration among many different companies. It contains a variety of lights, buttons, and sensors to help students understand the interaction between programming and the physical world. Over the next few episodes, I'll show you how to create code for the Microbit, make simple pictures, build a virtual magic 8-ball, measure temperature, and communicate wirelessly between two different microbits. One great feature of the Microbit is that you have many options available when it comes to creating code for it. The simplest and most kid-friendly method is using the online block editor in Microsoft MakeCode. We'll be using the block editor for these episodes. However, if you want to get a little more advanced, you can just switch over to the JavaScript editor to see the underlying code. Over at python.microbit.org, you can write code using MicroPython, which is a version of Python for embedded systems. If you want to get really advanced, you can write programs in C++ at developer.mbed.org. But let's stick with the Microsoft MakeCode editor for now. To begin, you'll need to plug a micro USB cable into your Microbit. Plug the other end into your computer. Open a browser and navigate to makecode.com. Click Start Coding under the picture of the Microbit. On the left, you'll see a simulation of the Microbit. Don't worry if the color doesn't match your physical board. In the main coding area, you'll see two blocks. Anything you attach to the OnStart block will be executed once as soon as the Microbit powers up. And anything you attach to Forever will be executed in order over and over again forever after whatever is in OnStart has finished running. Let's say hello. Click Basic from the categories and drag Show String so that it snaps into place under OnStart. In the simulator, click the Restart button and you should see hello scroll across the LED array. Now, let's make a picture show up by default after hello has finished scrolling. Move the Forever block over to a place where you can see it. Don't worry, it won't affect your final program. In Basic, drag Show LEDs so that it snaps into Forever. Click on individual LEDs to toggle them on and off. I'll draw an open mouth smiley face, but feel free to get creative with your design. Now, let's make something happen when I press a button. I want people to know my name, so in Input, I'll drag on button A pressed to somewhere in my editor. This says to execute whatever snapped into this block whenever the A button on the Microbit is pressed once. Notice that you can select which button you want the event to look for, but we'll leave it as button A for now. Then, let's drag another Show String block from Basic into the on button A pressed block. Click inside the text field and change hello to something stating your name. I'll write I'm Sean. Click Download and your code will be compiled into a .hex file. Compiling is like translating. It converts your blocks and code into a series of ones and zeros, something your Microbit will understand. Find where your Microbit program was downloaded, such as your Downloads directory. Copy it. Now, when you plugged in your Microbit, it shows up in your computer like a USB drive with the name Microbit. Click on that drive and paste in the .hex file. On a Mac, this process is the same. Copy the downloaded .hex file and paste it into the Microbit drive. The Microbit should automatically reset itself. You should see hello scroll across the screen. And then your picture should show up. When you press and release the A button, you should see your message. Let's say we want the picture to change whenever we hold down the B button. To do that, we have to tell the Microbit that it needs to show our default image or another image if button B is pressed. Go into Logic and drag the If Then Else block into Forever. In input, drag button A as pressed to the side of the if-then-else block. You should see it snap to the if portion and replace the true block. This says that if the magenta block evaluates to true, then code inside the then space will execute. Otherwise, code in the else space will execute. Let's change A to B so that we don't conflict with our other on button A pressed block. In BASIC, drag show icon to inside the then space. Make code has a number of pre-drawn images for us, so we'll just select the frowny face from the drop-down menu. Note that you can put another show LEDs block here if you want to draw your own image. Now, we'll need to drag our original show LEDs block up into the else space. That way, the microbit doesn't try to draw a frowny face and a happy face at the same time if button B is held. It has to choose to draw a happy face or a frowny face, one or the other. Now, when button B is not pressed, the happy face is drawn. It's still our default image. Download this and copy the hex file to your microbit drive on your computer. Now, as long as you're holding down the B button, you get a frowny face, but the happy face is still there when you let go. If you press and release A, you still get your introduction message. The microbit is a fun, powerful little board that has many options when it comes to programming and interacting with it. On the next episode, I'll show you how to respond to physically shaking the board and display a random message across the LED array. Thanks for watching.